Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a gorgeous summer lemon wreath. And before I get started, I wanted to let you know most of these materials are wholesale that I got. So because of that, if you want to make this exact wreath, I will have some kits available for you in my Etsy shop. So you can make this exact wreath with materials that I will have all ready for you. So if you're interested, I will have a link in the description for that. The materials you're going to need for this wreath are a grapevine wreath. This wreath is going to be made on a 14-inch grapevine wreath, and the finished wreath size will be about 20 to 21 inches. We're also going to be using hot glue and a hot glue gun. I have mine linked under tools in the description. And of course, my favorite wire cutters. I love these. The other materials you're going to need for this wreath are a ruscus spray. And of course, if you get the kit, I will have this cut up for you in nice pieces. I love this. The quality is so good. I just love that dark green color. It's so pretty. So we're going to use a couple branches of that. We're going to use some blueberries. I love these. They're so cute. And I think blueberries and lemons go so well together. We're going to have 3 things of lemons. Each one has 3, so 9 lemons total. We're going to have a few different bushes that have different greenery and textures in them. The first thing we're going to do is clean up our grapevine wreath. The first thing we're going to do after we've cleaned up our grapevine is we're going to get our ruscus ready. I've already cut up the first branch. I'm just cutting it up in nice little pieces to make it easier to make the rest of the wreath. Like I said, if you get a kit, I will have it cut up for you already. And we are just going to place these around the wreath. This will make the greenery stick out a lot further, so a 14-inch grapevine will make a good size wreath. And feel free to bend these if you like. That's the nice thing about faux, is you can bend the stems. So nice. So I'm just gluing the stems and I'm placing them along the grapevine. And when there's a piece like this is a good place to fill in those gaps. But we're just placing this around so it fills up the whole grapevine and adds our first layer of greenery. So I'm bending that because these are really close together. Just bending it a little bit. Okay, so now that we have the first part done, we're going to add in our greenery. And I love these little bushes because they're so full of pretty greenery and textures already, so it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So I'm just separating these so it's easy to cut, and then I cut every piece off, each stem individually. I mean, my wire cutters will cut all of them at once if you like to. Now I'm going to separate these into piles of individual types of things. So one for all the berries, the yellow berries, one for the boxwood pieces, and one pile for the coleus. So I'm going to add these around the wreath evenly, each thing in a different layer. So if you'll notice, I'm doing some on the outside and some on the inside. This way the yellow is really incorporated all throughout the wreath. I'm also picking up the ruscus leaves so that this can be really incorporated. So I'll pick it up so we can still see the leaves on the top. And it really helps to blend everything. Okay, now we have that layer. We're going to add in our boxwood, and just like before, we don't have a ton of boxwood, so we're going to use less, obviously, but we're just going to put it evenly around the wreath. Since I have 6 pieces of boxwood, it'll help me know where to place it. And these are a nice filler for the middle. I love these boxwood too. They're really good quality. I'm just gluing them and I'm sticking them into the grapevine. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with the coleus. I like that it has a little bit of the yellow on the leaves. And once again, we only have 6 of these, so I'm going to try and make them kind of in between the boxwood because that's already spaced. But these will be a little bit more on the outside. And then inside, whereas the boxwood was just more toward the middle. And you can slide the leaves up or down. If you want a longer stem, you can slide it up, which is what I did. And I'm trying to make sure all the leaves are facing more forward. All right, now we're going to use our other bush, and I'm actually not going to use the ivy. I'm not a big fan of ivy. I like ivy, but most faux ivy, even this is a pretty good quality. I'm just not a fan of it, so I'm taking that off. If you want to use it, that's totally fine. I'm just not going to. Because what I like about these are these little yellow flowers and the ferns. It adds such great texture. And then of course there are some more berries. So just like before, we're going to separate these into little piles so we know how much we have of each thing. So basically we have 4 of each thing, which is great. So I'm just going to add in these berries, which are very similar to the other ones we used. And I'm just going to put these on the outside so that we have more greenery filling in between these other long pieces. Okay, and now we're going to add our ferns. We have 2 lighter ferns and 2 darker ferns. So I'm going to alternate them. So we'll do a dark fern, and this is just a lovely texture. I just love, love, love the texture of ferns. And we're not doing a ton, but it's just like a nice little surprise texture thrown in there that someone might not notice right at first, but when you look at the wreath, you really see it. So pretty. And these are good quality plastics. So they're really durable and they just look really nice. So I'm just adding 4 of the ferns because that's all we have. And I'm adding these to the middle and I'm making sure they kind of stick out a little bit. This would look pretty as a greenery wreath, which is the yellow and the ferns. Oh, I love it. And so now we're going to add in our little flowers. So we have 4 flowers and they have this cute little vine that goes with it. Once again, gorgeous texture. This is such a pretty wreath for summer or spring, really. So since we have 4, I'm going to add them in between the ferns. And that's just another pop of interest that really makes this wreath stand out, and it looks so pretty and interesting. So when someone's at your front door waiting to come in, they have something pretty to look at. And they'll be so impressed when they find out you made it. All right, so this wreath is so pretty on its own, isn't it? I love it. Oh, it's so cute. But of course, you gotta add those lemons in. So I love these lemons that I have. So what you do first is you take them, oops. If you take a leaf apart and it comes off, here, just, it's totally okay. Just cut the bottom until you have a little hole. And dab some glue. And then we're just putting it back on so we have a nice little leaf pick. And then with these paper things, I like to just pull it down and separate everything so we have more control over where we place it. And now I'm going to separate the lemons and the leaves, unless it's connected. But I'm going to separate them so we have a large, medium, and small lemon, and then some lemon leaves. And one of mine was missing a lemon, so I actually took one from here. I had another kind of lemon. But if you get the kit, you'll have the correct amount on each stem. You want to make sure you pull on the lemons a little bit to make sure. So I felt this one was a little bit, you can either dab some glue right there or just pull it off. You can pull it off and then just add a little bit of glue at the entrance there and put the stem right back in. The lemon's not going anywhere. So for this one, it has a flimsy stem, the one I grabbed, so I'm going to take it off. I'm going to just grab one of my own stems. I'm going to dab some glue. Put my own stem in there. The nice thing is these lemons were the same brand, so the leaves totally match. There. So first I'm going to add in my large lemons all the way around the wreath. Add them in at an angle so that the stem gets good contact with the grapevine, and then you can bend the lemon up if you like. Now we'll add in the medium lemons. And I'm going to add these in just a little bit above and point it inside. I like to have them facing different directions a little bit so they look really natural. And then our other lemons can go down here, below the larger lemon and more on the outside. Of course, lay them however you like, but that's just kind of how I do it so it looks natural. It looks like there's no pattern, but there is. Now we can add in our lemon leaves. You can add these wherever you see any pieces of grapevine showing, or you can add them underneath the lemon. Doesn't really matter. Okay, here it is so far. I am loving this. This is a very high-end lemon wreath, very high-end. So now, just to make it over the top, absolutely gorgeous, extra detail is I'm going to add in some blueberries. We don't need a lot, but just that little bit of texture really makes this wreath super gorgeous. Over the top, high end, so pretty. If you see any pieces that have any white showing, you can just cut them off. No one would notice. They're so pretty, and there's lots of them. And I like these because the leaves look really good against the yellowy greenery, and they just look really natural. So we're just going to add in a few of these. I'm just wrapping the wire around this bigger stem because it was kind of loose, and that will help. So these come with a couple branches on them, and some of them come with one. So I think since this one had one on it, I'm actually going to move it. So we have two, yeah, just so they're not right next to each other. And sometimes if a couple of them come apart, you can just dab a little bit of glue and hold them together and they'll stick together. You know, sometimes you just have to troubleshoot the materials you get because almost never does anything come perfect. So you just have to learn how to take what you have and fix it so it looks perfect. And I do that all the time with my materials, like gluing on the lemon heads or gluing these berries together. If there are any pieces sticking out the back at the end, just cut them off. Really simple. And if you want to hang up your wreath, obviously you can hang it right from the grapevine. But for all of my wreaths, I take some jute twine, just like this. And I've showed this in other videos before, but I'll show it in this one too. Find out where it looks best. Sometimes you have to hold it back. And then find a good spot. Sometimes you can do this with just your fingers and just put the string through and tie a little knot. And you have a nice natural hanger. If your grapevine is tighter, sometimes that can be harder. You can use some needle nose pliers or something like that. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Oh, I love it so much. And just so you know, after every single one of my pre-recorded videos like this, after I'm done saying my spiel, I always have a close-up video of everything on the end. And so a lot of people don't realize that. So I wanted to let you know. Oh my goodness. So if you are wanting a kit for this, I'm going to include the materials and not the wreath, not the grapevine, although I will have an option if you want me to include the grapevine. That will make shipping and all the materials cost a little more expensive, so it'd be more economical if you just got it with the materials. And then also, I'm only going to be able to ship them in the United States. So if you're not in the United States, I'm so sorry, but I hope that you can find some similar things so you can make a wreath very similar. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And let me know if you're going to make one of these. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!